Hey, my name is Paul here at Drone U, and I want to teach you exactly what it's going to take to be a successful drone pilot. Now, because I'm an experienced drone pilot myself and continue to fly drone jobs, I want to give you the real life, no BS, exactly what you need to know and nothing else to actually be a successful drone pilot. Because as many of you know, you've got to have your 107 certificate to fly, right? Well, the FAA doesn't teach you a single damn thing about what it actually takes to practically fly a drone. So let's go over the top 5 things that you're going to need to do in order to be a successful drone pilot. Number 1, it's all about what you learn in learning how to fly, right? You can fly fast, you can fly agile, but can you fly smooth? Can you fly slowly? Can you fly in close proximity to things? So we're gonna go over exactly what it takes and what you need to learn in order to be successful as a drone pilot. 2, we're gonna talk about building business systems. Oftentimes entrepreneurs go into a business happy, gung-ho, giddy, yay, yoo-ha, right? It's gonna be awesome. Let's talk about how to actually scale our business from the start, so that way all of our autonomy and our autonomous systems can make running our business a lot easier, so you can focus on the fun, creative stuff and acquire more clients. That brings us to point number 3, which is all about building relationships and hustling. We're gonna go over exactly what you need to do to build relationships in the community, build credibility, authority, and what it actually takes to set up demos and land clients. Number 4, we're gonna go over the top 5 jobs that are gonna make scaling your drone business a lot easier. See, oftentimes drone pilots wanna augment their creative business, and that's awesome, and there's a lot of opportunity out there, and it's a lot of fun. But you might find over time, it's hard to really continue to get those jobs and build recurring revenue to make your business easier to run. The whole idea here in building any business as an entrepreneur is having some sort of exit strategy. I understand that may be hard to understand, but the fact of the matter is that you've got to build a business that either your family can take over or that you can sell after 10 or 15 years of really enjoying living the drone life. Number 5, we're gonna talk about the maintenance of setting up, running your business, and flying. We're gonna talk about what it takes to practice your flying and how you can really turn that into opportunities to gain more clients. But we're also gonna go over where you should set up your business and really publish your business to acquire more drone jobs. So let's get started. Point number 1, learning how to fly, right? Part 107, again, is not gonna teach you anything that you need to know in how to avoid emergency, stop a flyaway, fly in super close proximity to get the shots your competition can't get, nor is it gonna teach you spatial awareness or orientation loss drills or the fastest way to bring your drone down in the case of an emergency. That's actually why Drone U built our drills and practice course, but more so in person, our flight mastery course. Did you know that's a federal requirement for certain investigators? Because that course takes everything that we've learned in teaching tens of thousands of pilots, turning it into methodologies. That way, it's systematically easier to reduce liability and the propensity to crash by implementing these methods that turn into habits that turn into routines. Now, here's the thing. Have you ever flown in a plane or a helicopter? Do you know how real pilots are actually able to tell how good other pilots are at flying? It's their ability to create natural banking turns to get beautiful, smooth shots, no matter the environment of flight. That means, are you able to make beautiful banking turns, implementing yaw and roll at the same time? Which is, again, something that we go over in our drills and exercise course online and our in-person flight mastery course, which, did you know you can get an educational rate of insurance after you pass that course? So that way it's cheaper to run your business. When it comes to learning how to fly, you need to actually think of learning how to fly on a daily, if not weekly basis. You need to go out and essentially practice doing drone jobs even though you don't have them, which is why we're gonna talk about signing up for drone jobbing companies later on in this video. But every single time that you fly, you should imagine that you are in front of a client and every single motion that you take is some sort of smooth motion? Are you elevating with a nice, beautiful tilt that's seamless and the speed remains consistent throughout that tilt? Are you familiar in what it's gonna take videography-wise to get those beautiful saturated colors without oversaturating the material in post? These are all things that are gonna be absolutely important for you to learn. So let's recap what you need to learn to fly in order to service a creative business flying drones, or whether it's a technical business. Because here's the thing, I used to think becoming a good drone pilot was not necessary to be a good drone mapper. That could not be further from the truth, especially now as companies like Netflix and NBC Universal are utilizing these 3D models to, well, work across various departments from scouting to VFX, logistics, planning, and so much more. Here's the deal, in order to create beautiful lifelike 3D models, you have to fly in close proximity between trees and buildings to capture the right amount of shots to make a beautiful 3D model. So when it comes to what you need to learn how to fly, it's flying fast is easy. Flying slow and smooth, if I can say it right, is actually what it's gonna take to be able to get jobs in the creative field or in the technical field. But you have to learn close proximity as well. You need to learn spatial awareness, AKA setting yourself up in a good position for visual line of sight to understand where the aircraft is in relation to the obstacles behind it. On top of that, every time you fly, you've got to focus on recording those flights so you can look at the video footage, try different things, understand how important an ND filter is for every single flight, and understand when not to use it. But you're also going to have to practice flying in various environments, from the side of a hill to, well, a place where it's really windy pretty much all the time, like a beach, to high elevation environments, and understand how that's going to actually affect your flying. These are all things that you need to learn, and honestly, it might sound like a lot, but it's a whole lot of fun, especially as you implement the perfect practice model, something that Kay Anders Erickson talked about from, well, the university, I think it was South Florida. I'm sure you've heard of the book Outliers, the 10,000 hour rule, right? Malcolm Gladwell didn't fully explain Kay Anders Erickson's study that showcases that, think of a basketball pickup game. Every single time it's different, but it's really forcing you and challenging you to really compete or complete the same motions over and over in various locations. That perfect practice model is exactly what we need to do when it comes to learning how to fly drones. The more environments that you fly, the more problems you face, thus the more solutions that you know, so you don't lose your crap in front of a client. Confidence is key. You've got to be able to deliver consistently, and you're really only as good as your best or your last job. Not your best job, your last job. Let me be clear about that, because for some reason, I can't talk today. Point number 2 is about building your business systems. So many entrepreneurs think that they can build this amazing business and they'll just get more and more jobs and they'll make more and more money. Newsflash, it doesn't work that way, okay? That said, we've got to build scalable systems for our online funnels of marketing. We've also got to ensure our SEO is proper and we're constantly adding content to our website to increase our rank. Not only that, but we've got to have digital materials that we can hand to a client at any given time to show them exactly what we're capable of and give them an example of how our work is better than the competition. But at the end of the day, business is built on relationships. That's why authenticity is so important. You can't just say that you're a phenomenal drone pilot without actually being able to consistently and reliably deliver results client to client to client, which is why business scaling is so important. And scaling systems like client onboarding, scaling systems like delivering to clients, scaling systems like creating engaging content to re-engage our clients and get more jobs. Here's the thing, business is built on relationships. That's why you've got to be out in the field. You've got to be out in the community with networking events, scheduling demos, working with realtor tours to create long-lasting relationships with the power brokers. That way you can get the best jobs and find clients in the right quadrant of the client quadrant. You want that high profit, low maintenance client. You don't want that realtor scraping at the bottom, selling those 100K houses that's gonna pay you $100 for your drone photos. No one wants that, but it's great paid practice. That said, you've got to scale your business from the start. Take a long time to start up your business, to build your website, to get it right, to come up with a content calendar, and better understand that while you're on drone jobs, you've also got to capture content to push said drone jobs. Because people want to see the BTS footage, okay? They want to see that. It's gonna make them feel more connected to you. I know, I don't like social media either, but it's important.
This is fun.
We also have to scale our contracts, and we have to create scalable systems so that we can easily execute a client or execute a contract with the client at any given demo. Demonstrations are the #1 way that I have built relationships with clients. Why? I let them fly. I let them have fun. I let them have a really great emotional connection with flying drones. So anytime they think of me, they think of, oh man, I like Paul. He's a nice guy. He's got a good heart. He's a little rough around the edges, but he's got a good heart. And frankly, he really knows what he's doing when it comes to flying drones. Some of my clients have even said, when Paul flies, it's like having another augmented appendage that's flying around because it's so seamless. Now, while that might be an ego building statement, it's also very true, because the thing is, when you do a demo, they're having fun. They're also realizing how difficult it is to do your job, which builds credibility with you. So demonstrations are key. But to recap this section, you've got to 1, autonomize the entire business from the entire client navigation, from your first touch point to your last touch point. Number 2, what makes a professional athlete a professional? Consistency. Anyone can shoot a 3-pointer from the half line of a basketball court, but who can do it consistently? Well, the pros. Chances are though, you're probably gonna want a little bit more emotional intelligence than the pros. That's a good one. Also, you wanna autonomize your marketing systems, your content development, and you wanna autonomize building business relationships, joining the right networking group, setting up demonstrations with associations that are affiliated with the verticals that you want to serve. All of these things are crucial and key to starting your business, which is why DroneU has classes on building up your business and focusing on how you do it, and not so, well, who's doing it, although who, not how, is very important. That said, it's so important to understand how autonomizing every single part of the client navigation is gonna allow you to focus more on the creative aspect of flying drones and not just sitting behind a computer and staring at stuff that, well, probably drives you crazy after a while, right? That said, we have another business course which is all about creating autonomy through your website from start to finish. You won't want to miss Kara's class. It's inside of DroneU. It's unbelievable. Now, I kind of already talked about point number 3 as far as building relationships and joining associations that are well focused on the industries that you want to serve. But for point number 3, you need to really focus on which associations are going to allow you to present, because you need to get in front of these groups and you need to essentially explain the value that your service is going to provide. Now, here's the thing. You actually need to explain this in a dollarized value, aka how much money is someone going to save by hiring you? What's the savings and liability as well? Sometimes it's hard to even illustrate that true savings because it's exponential. Think about a roof inspection, right? Our brand new roof inspection class is free for members, but here's the thing. What if it saves one guy from falling off of a ladder? Tom, I'm looking at you. Well, it was millions of dollars, so just in case you're wondering. Now, that said, you've also got to join the right networking groups. And I will say, this took me years to learn, but typically the networking groups that cost the most money are actually the most useful. So here in Albuquerque, we've got the Albuquerque Hispano Chamber of Commerce. There's another commercial chamber of commerce. And then there's the Albuquerque Economic Development. That's $2,000 a year, but I will say it's built huge relationships here for us at DroneU. And frankly, it's worth its weight in gold. So you need to really do some research and figure out where the major players, the real true business makers in your community, where are they meeting? Who are they meeting up with? how can you get involved? Now, you've got to be personable. You can't just go in there all curmudgeon status and I'm Paul and I fly drones for a living. No, you've got to have confidence and you've got to be able to know your value and know your worth. A long time ago, one of my drone friends told me, well, Paul, you're really not going to know your value until you test your value. We've got a great story about that on the podcast. Point number 4, it's really important for drone pilots to focus on the particular verticals that is going to serve their business. Let's go back to scalability. Do you really want these creative jobs where you're hustling after small businesses who are really cash strapped in order to film their marketing videos and social media videos? Well, for some of you, that may be great, but for others of us, we need more repeatable, reliable income to make the hustle easier. We've got to focus on drone jobs that are going to have us back every month or every couple weeks. So what are the top 5 drone jobs that are going to bring reliable recurring revenue for your drone business? Let's go over the list. Number 1 is going to be construction progression and mapping. Whether you're doing just progression photos or to the more advanced deliverables like hyperlapses and 3D modeling, there's an extreme opportunity to service construction clients all over your area. And frankly, the way that we're using drones in construction continues to evolve as these, general contractors better understand how this data can make their life easier. Point number 2 is solar inspections. We've talked about this a lot recently. We've had one of our good friends and Drone U graduates, Glenn LeBay, on the show, who's one of dozens of pilots who has made solar inspections the key focus and aspect of his business. Now, that said, is he doing other drone jobs? Yes, he is, but his main driver of revenue are these solar jobs that he's flying every single month to help these solar farms better understand the energy loss, because no one wants to be producing energy at 75%, they want 100%. And with Raptor maps, we can know right down to the cent how much we're losing every single month by flying drones over solar panels. Now, that said, we talked about Glenn. He does a lot of side jobs. His jobs are creative and they're technical. Solar inspections are pretty technical, but fairly easy, and in my opinion, the easiest drone jobs because they're mostly autonomous, including the reporting and the processing. It's super easy. That said, you've got to be able to fly close to things. You've got to be able to also shoot creative stuff so you can augment these deliverables with beautiful marketing video that the company's going to want as well. This brings me to point number 3. That is utility inspections. From cell tower inspections to power line inspections, frankly, drone pilots are getting hired hand over fist right now to simply take pictures of some transformers that are melting and causing wildfires in California. Yep, it's really happening. That said, drone pilots are becoming absolutely critical for critical infrastructure. Well, you want to keep your home cool because you don't want to sweat your face off when Netflix and chilling. I totally understand that. That's why we need drone pilots to ensure those power lines keep pumping juice to our homes, because no one likes to Netflix and chill when it's hot. I don't know about you, I am a sweaty monster. That said, when it comes to real estate, a lot of drone pilots understand that, real estate is really kind of the bottom of the barrel jobs. It's the low-hanging fruit. But when you follow the client quadrant and you better understand who you want to work for, you can focus on the power brokers, the ranchers, the farmers, and the people selling luxury estates. There's one of our Drone U graduates who charges $15,000 for a real estate video. You probably don't hear that very often. You want to know why? Because the work that it takes to build these relationships takes time and it takes patience, which is why your mother told you that patience is a virtue. I'm telling you that patience equals profit. A lot easier to follow now, huh? Let's get back to it. Lastly, film production. This is not really a scalable drone job, but once you get in with the right location managers and the right film productions, frankly, the options are endless. But these jobs may not be for everyone. If you're a family man, you're trying to be a family man, or you're trying to grow your family, chances are you don't want these jobs, because spending 43 days on set, that's gonna be pretty hard on the wife and the kids, right? The thing is, if you're getting paid $5,000 to $10,000 per day for 43 days, you might be home for the rest of the year enjoying your wife and your family. So it's a little bit of give and take. That said, these jobs are extremely hard to break into, but once you do break into them, you actually get paid in multiple ways, because you get paid to fly, you get paid for your equipment rental, and you get paid for the labor on your team. So for Johnny, who's helping you carry boxes around, he's getting $300 a day to stand around and look pretty. Hopefully he doesn't look pretty, he looks more macho because you might need security. Anyway, that said, film production is one of those highly profitable jobs, very difficult to break into, but once you do break into it, guess what? It is going to make the money printer go brrr. Okay, that said, it's really important to understand that as film productions are diversifying in how they use drones, they're flying drones for creative purposes. Anyone can fly a camera on a big rig. Frankly, it's not that hard. It's the people who can fly cameras low, close, and smooth at high speeds who get the jobs. But not only that, it's now becoming more prevalent with people like Beverly Hills Aerials who are flying red cameras on FPV drones to get incredible shots at extremely tight distances. Now, that said, this goes back to what you need to learn how to fly, right? Most people here on YouTube are teaching you how to fly line of sight. How many drone exercise videos have you seen that are line of sight or FPV and in attitude mode? I haven't seen any. Anyway, that said, you need to learn all of those things in order to be a diversified pilot to be successful. The more tools you got in your toolkit, well, the more tools that are gonna pay the bills. You got what I'm saying? Awesome. This is why it's never good to just have one ratchet. Number 5, while I'm probably scaring you with how much I'm talking about all the things that you need to be a successful drone pilot, let me tell you firsthand, there is no better gamification of a career in the world, unless you're a fighter pilot or Tom Cruise. Okay, I get it. Can we fly the tower? Negative, Ghost Rider? Okay, I'm flying it anyway. Anyway, that said, it is fun, and if you gamify this process, then the challenges constantly push you to try new things. And if you're like me and you like to constantly do new things or try new things, this is gonna be right up your alley. It's just gonna take focus and structure, which as you can see, as someone with ADD, I struggle with. Which brings us to our last and final point, that you've gotta constantly be practicing flying, because you need to know what it takes to maintain your birds, the cost to maintain your birds, and to amortize the equipment that you're purchasing over time. While you do that, you also need to be getting your business name out there in the digital world by signing up for as many drone jobbing companies as possible. Why did I bring these two things together? Because these drone jobbing companies, frankly, are paid practice. You get paid to practice. How many times in football did you get paid to show up for practice? Yep, me too. Yep, but that's why I like lacrosse, because you could take your anger out on people a little bit easier. Okay, so before revealing too much about myself, let's recap. One take wonder, baby. I do want to say that it's so important to understand that these paid practice jobs, you can also up the ante. You can be taking off and getting those smooth, beautiful reveals. So if you need to better understand, well, all the things beyond 107, which as you can see, 107 is just a stepping stone. You're gonna need aerial photography, aerial videography, and smooth cinematography, learning to fly line of sight and FPV and in close proximity and in attitude mode so you can avoid emergencies and not look like a fool in front of your clients. Yep, seen it a lot, even on set. It was pretty bad. Anyway, that said, you also need to focus on autonomizing your business as much as possible, which is why Drone U is giving you all of these classes for just $47 a month. We're like the Amazon Prime of drone classes. Can you find a more specific, nuanced, large drone course library on the internet? It doesn't matter, because what does matter is it's taught from experience. So it teaches you exactly what you need to know and nothing that you don't need to know, but maybe some things that you should know. That way you can be a successful drone pilot. Now, realistically, how long does it take for you to actually earn back the money and, have a successful business? For me, it was 18 months. In this particular age of the industry, it should be a lot sooner. We've got, I think it's a few hundred pilots who have done it in sub 6 months, because they augmented their existing business with drones. They got their 107, learned operations, took the Don't Crash course, came to Flight Mastery. Now they can fly like a G. They pay less money for insurance, and oh yeah, they've got their business systems down, so scalability is easy. Now, all of this may sound like a lot, but it's totally doable. And if you believe in yourself and you time block and you make a plan, remember, any genius can be overcome by an idiot with a good plan. The story remains the same. With the right plan and execution of said plan, you can be a successful drone pilot, which as you can see now, takes a whole lot more than just passing your 107. This is why Drone U goes above and beyond flight school to give you everything that you need to scale your business from the start. That way you're not just, a drop in the pan, but you're actually successful over time. Because in order to truly be happy, well, you're gonna have to work less overtime, not more. So build those scalable systems, create that plan, and you can do it all with the help of Drone U. Because we believe that education should be fundamentally different than the American university system that costs you $50,000 for a master's degree that only teaches you how to be a manager and not a true executive. We want to give you a platform to step on so when you go out into the real world, you're ready to slay it. You ready to slay it? Awesome. I'll see you in the Drone U community.